Have you ever felt that big game energy where you just know something out of the ordinary is about to happen? That's exactly what this felt like. The Ravens took the field with a serious edge, and it didn't take long to realize this wasn't going to be just another game. Every snap added to the feeling that something heavy was being built, like the Bengals were slowly sinking into quicksand without even noticing it. And what comes next is even bigger. Total control. Star players showing up at the right moment. A defense playing hungry. And a rival with absolutely no answers. What happened in this game changes the direction of the season and sends a message nobody can ignore. So stay with me until the end, because the details behind this would tell a much bigger story than the scoreboard ever could. You know those games where, a few minutes in, you already understand exactly how it's going to go? That was this one. The Ravens came out with the attitude of a team that wasn't there to negotiate anything. Every play had a purpose. Every decision felt calculated, and the Bengals were slowly pushed backward without any real response. This wasn't chaos. It was total control of the environment, like holding the steering wheel from start to finish. The 24-0 score didn't just happen. It was built calmly with authority. Baltimore didn't need to take risks or get fancy. They did the simple things extremely well, won the small battles on every drive, and made it clear this was one of those days when everything clicks. When a team plays like that, the opponent feels it, and the game starts to feel over long before the final whistle. What stood out most was the sense of maturity. Even with the pressure of needing a win to stay alive, the Ravens never looked anxious. Instead, they played loose, confident, and fully aware of what the Bengals could and couldn't do. That calm turned into dominance, and that dominance turned into a win that sends a loud message to the rest of the league. And in the middle of all that control, there was someone who knew exactly when to speed things up and when to slow them down. Someone who didn't need the spotlight, but was at the center of everything that worked. When the game needed patience, he delivered patience. When it needed a decision, he showed up. That's where this story really shifts. When you glance at Lamar Jackson's stat line, you might think that's it. But anyone who watched the game knows the truth is very different. He didn't need to throw nonstop or run around putting out fires. Lamar played with poise, waiting for the right moments, like someone who knows exactly when to speak and when to listen. And that made all the difference. Early on, the game was tight and sluggish, the kind where nobody wants to make the first mistake. Then, late in the second quarter, Lamar flipped the switch. First, he found Rasheen Ali on a play that turned into 30 yards and broke the scoreless tie. Not long after, he led a sharp, fast-paced drive, giving the defense no time to breathe, and capped it with a perfect strike to Zay Flowers in the end zone. Simple, clean, efficient. What mattered most was how he protected the football. While things were falling apart on the other side, Lamar stayed in control. No careless mistakes. No forcing throws that weren't there. With Derrick Henry and Keaton Mitchell running effectively, he understood he didn't need to be the hero on every snap. He just needed to guide the team, like a conductor leading the music without playing every instrument. And when a quarterback plays like that, everyone benefits. The offense settles in, the clock keeps moving, and the pressure starts shifting onto the opposing defense. And speaking of pressure, that's exactly what the Ravens defense decided to bring all day long. From warm-ups, you could feel something was different. The defense took the field with a different energy, a different look. This wasn't just about covering assignments. It was about demanding respect. Kyle Hamilton spoke before the game, lit the fire, and once the ball was snapped, everyone bought in. Every tackle hit harder. Every blitz felt like it came with extra attitude. Joe Burrow didn't get a single moment apiece. The Bengals' offensive line collapsed, and pressure came from everywhere. 4 sacks, rush throws, bad decisions. The secondary stayed glued to receivers. Linebackers attacked gaps without hesitation. And Cincinnati simply couldn't breathe. It was like trying to run full speed inside a cramped room. But it wasn't just technique. It was mindset. The Ravens' defense played with confidence, staring down opponents, celebrating, feeding off every mistake. That old-school Baltimore defensive spirit finally showed up. And when a defense plays with that kind of personality, the opposing offense starts breaking down mentally. The perfect symbol of it all came in the fourth quarter. Kyle Van Noy read the pass, made the interception, and instead of going down, kept a composure and lateraled to Alohi Gilman, who took it 84 yards to the house. It was the kind of play that completely changes the energy in a stadium. For the team on the other side, that was the final blow.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
For Burrow, it was a brutal afternoon from the very first snap. Nothing flowed. Passes were late. Pressure arrived instantly, and the frustration was obvious. For the first time in his NFL career, he finished the game without scoring a single point. That alone says a lot about what happened on the field. Even with 225 yards, the numbers are misleading. Those were empty yards with no real impact on the game. 2 interceptions killed any chance of a comeback, and the Bengals' offense looked lost without an identity. Every attempt to respond was quickly shut down by a mistake, a drop, or more pressure crashing in. Ja'Marr Chase, usually reliable, had uncharacteristic struggles. The offensive line couldn't hold up, and the play calling didn't help. It felt like the entire offense was a step behind all game, trying to fix something that was already broken. When that happens, even elite quarterbacks suffer. The result was heavy. The loss dropped the Bengals to 4-10 and officially eliminated them from playoff contention. A season that began with high expectations ends on a bitter note, and this game perfectly captured everything that went wrong. For Baltimore, this one meant more than just a good Sunday. Reaching 7-7 keeps the team breathing in the playoff race, even knowing the road ahead isn't easy. There's zero margin for error, and everyone in the building knows it. But performances like this restore confidence and remind everyone what this team can look like when everything comes together. There are still major challenges ahead. Patriots and Packers won't be easy matchups, and every detail will matter. But after such a dominant showing, the Ravens aren't just hanging on. They're competing, adjusting, and finding their identity at the most critical point of the season. What stands out is that this win didn't require miracles. It was a balanced, collective effort with offense, defense, and emotional control all working together. Wins like that often say more about a team than a last-second finish ever could. Now the question is simple and powerful. Was this game just a flash or the start of a real run? If the Ravens can maintain this posture, this intensity, and this focus, nobody in the AFC is going to want to see them when the schedule tightens. This game sent a message that can't be ignored. The Ravens showed control, maturity, and an identity that had been quiet for much of the season. Lamar Jackson played smart football. The defense imposed as well from the first snap to the last, and the Bengals had no room to breathe. This wasn't luck. This wasn't random. It was a team doing exactly what it needed to do when the pressure was highest. The question now is straightforward. Was this just a one-week peak or the turning point Baltimore needed? Can this level of focus and intensity show up again when the matchups get even tougher? Because if this version of the Ravens comes back, the entire AFC picture changes. The statement was made. The message was delivered. And the season now carries a different weight. Baltimore is still alive, confident, and far more dangerous than it looked just a few weeks ago. From here on out, every game is a real test, and whoever lines up on the other side already knows it won't be easy.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.